What is up? Wolf Den, let me know that you're here. I don't know what time zone you're in. It is 5:30 in the morning. Here, I've been at the office for almost 2 hours. Couldn't sleep. Still yawning, obviously. Hit the thumbs up. Let me know you're here. If you're catching this replay, do the same. So I'm going to show you some math, okay? But I'm going to show you, or I'm going to explain our methodology. And you don't have to agree. And you can also not agree but choose to align, right? Because here's the thing that people don't understand, and it's a huge handicap. And this is kind of what we teach in the CCA and through our certification program. And you know, people pay $100,000 to come spend time at the office. Like on Friday, we had somebody do that. Well, these are the things that they understand. So I'm going to share them, and I hope they're useful to you. Okay? There's a lot of paralysis. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of people. I'm gonna teach you some things that I wasn't planning on. Okay? Investor frame, because here is the only thing that is hard for people, and I get it, is we have resources. Okay? That's your time, money. Maybe you have a home, maybe you have influence, maybe you have reputation, maybe you have a identity that is valuable. Energy is a resource, right? We have resources. I don't know why people get so stuck on money for money. You can absolutely trade time for money, or energy for money, or reputation for money, or reputation for time, or energy for reputation. Right? You could put your energy into doing something that improves your reputation, which becomes a currency for you later on. So people get super myopic and they handicap themselves. So we have resources. And the question is, given what we know, what is the best allocation of resources that I currently have? You might have to think about, you may not have a ton of capital, and that's okay. There are other resources: time, identity, energy, reputation, money, audience, right? If you have a big audience, that's a currency. You can use that. That's a resource. Hopefully this makes sense. All right? So we have resources. This is the only thing. People say, hey, I love the base case. I love Guardian BUSD. It's awesome. But is it going to exist in 10 years? And that question, while I understand it, it is something to keep an eye on, because we don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. Is there a better place for you to allocate your resources right now? And if not, then you are actually creating a roadblock where there doesn't need a roadblock. Now, that may not be the best place for you to allocate your resources right now, and that's reasonable. But saying like, hey, 15 years from now, what if we can't get 70% with the base case? Well, that might be a possibility. All you're doing is preventing yourself from taking action now, because the only question is, given what we know right now, the research that we've done, what is the best place to allocate my resources? If you think it's best sitting in the bank, if you think it's best sitting under your mattress, if you think it's best in a money market, okay, that is your decision. Do not abdicate that to other people. But if you keep it in a bank and you don't like it there, but you're worried about what might happen in 10 years, right? You don't understand resource allocation. You're probably not an investor, and that's okay. You just know yourself. Okay, play your game. So the investor frame is this. If I knew, and this is from, let me give you credit here. This is from the CCA, Certainty U. If I knew what I know, would I opt into this? Okay? That means we have a very hard time. Here, look. Continuing to staying in a bad situation is the same as opting into new bad situations. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. That means if you're in an investment that you would not make again because it violates your economic and personal principles, by staying in that investment, it is the same as making another bad investment, because those are resources that need to be recaptured and reallocated. That means that you have resources right now. If you would say, no, given what I have $1 million of Bitcoin, but given what I know now, I would not put that $1 million into Bitcoin. If that's the case, it might be real estate, it might be some other investment, it might be Beanie Babies, I don't know. But if you have $1 million in something and you would not make that decision again with $1 million, then you are violating your own economic and personal principles with assets that you own. Right? We do this. We do this all the time. We stay in relationships that we know are going to be bad. If we knew what we knew now, we wouldn't have gotten in this relationship. But we are. And so by staying in it, it is the same. You are using the same amount of resources and you're allocating it towards something that is violating your own economic and personal principles in an ongoing way. I hope that makes sense. Okay. How would you distinguish resource from a currency? Currency is a resource. It's already said there. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. You're going, oh, I wish I had more money to put in so-and-so. Well, why don't we look at all the ways your money or time or energy or reputation or identity we got to apply the investor frame. Given what I know, would I put my time into this again? Maybe you go to maybe you have a business and you spend 4 hours a week there. Given what I know, would I opt back into this exact situation right now? If no, then you're violating your own economic and personal principles with resources that you have. It doesn't make any sense to try to find more resources when you are hemorrhaging the ones that you have. Okay, this is why we have a solvable problem. And there's another reason we have a solvable problem. Because there's people, they're sending videos all over and they're saying, here's how you protect your money. Fiat's going to zero. Real estate's going to zero. Land is going to be expensive. Land is going to be cheap. Bitcoin is going to be worth nothing. And the truth is, it's all probabilities. Nobody has any idea what's going to happen. Nobody does. 20 years from now, somebody's going to made statements yesterday and they're going to look like a genius. And it was by and large, maybe they're playing probabilities. Maybe they got lucky. Okay. But let's just be rational humans. Stop looking for certainty where it doesn't exist. And what I mean is, like, stop going to YouTube, looking at your favorite YouTuber, praying to God that he's right, and planning your life around it. Okay, think for yourself. Anxiety is uncertainty times powerlessness, which means if uncertainty goes up, anxiety goes up exponentially, right? Because they're multiplicative, as first form just said here. Okay, so every time, this is very, very, I taught this in Nixmas. Every time you watch some YouTube person that goes, yeah, Bitcoin's going to be 75 grand in December by the 15th. On December 15th, when that doesn't happen, because you have told yourself a narrative that it's going to happen and you are so certain in it because you trusted somebody else instead of making your own decision, your uncertainty skyrockets because you buy into December 15th, 100K Bitcoin. Yes. And you do all kinds of dumb shit to get a whole bunch of Bitcoin by December 15th. And then it doesn't happen. And now your certainty around your narrative around your certainty and reality do not line up. Okay? And you are powerless. There's nothing you can do about it because you actually don't know where that $100,000 Bitcoin came from. It was not your decision-making criteria that got you there. It was somebody else's, which means you cannot update it. There's no Bayesian updating of your operating system or decision-making criteria. So now, not only has your uncertainty skyrocketed, so has your power over the outcome. Because the only decision-making criteria was listen to someone else. Which means if they're right, you win, but you don't actually know how or why. And if they're wrong, you lose and you're up shit's creek without a paddle because you don't know how or why. I have no problem being wrong. I am wrong all the time. And then I examine, what did I think would happen? What actually happened? What were the steps? How can I update my own decision-making criteria? Being wrong makes me a better thinker. But if you copy me, blindly follow me, that's why I don't give prescriptive stuff. If you blindly follow what I tell you to do, and I am right, you only benefit in the short term. If I am wrong, you are powerless. However, I am not. Because I have the operating system and I know how it works. Okay? You should have your own operating system and you should refine it. So stop abdicating responsibility. You want to sleep better at night, you need to have a solvable problem. And let me tell you why that's so important. Because we have, again, these predictions about what money's going to do, what Bitcoin's going to do, yada, yada, yada. I have my thoughts. I build my portfolio and I make my plans given what I believe. Okay? And it's all probabilities. It's all probabilities. But if you have a solvable problem, it doesn't really matter. Okay? Because all we're doing is we are saying, these are the things that I want out of life. Given what I know right now, what is the most efficient path? Maybe you want to make sure your wife never has to work again. Maybe you want to pay off your debt, and maybe you want to have enough capital so you never have to work again. Maybe you want a new vacation home. Whatever it is, if you have a solvable problem at any point, it's not about how to protect your money. Here's 10 steps to protect your money for the next 30 years. What is the point of the money? It's fucking Ebenezer Scrooge stuff. Like, you just want to have a vault of gold coins. I get it. That just means if protecting money is the focus, you probably forgot what actually matters to you. Right? Because the money, the assets, the currency, the energy, the reputation, it should all be trying to achieve something. Okay? Elon Musk wants to populate Mars. He's a maniac. That's a huge goal. But it's not about protecting the money. It's about the most efficient path to populate Mars. Those are different things. Okay? And if you just want to have enough to buy a home in Hawaii and retire, well, then we can probably look at your solvable problem, do that the next 3 years, and we don't have to worry about what's going to happen 10 years from now. Right? So what is the point? The point is getting what you want. And if what you want is a dollar amount, you are missing the point. This is my opinion, of course. That dollar amount amounts to something else. Need an entire town of off-grid luxury homes in the comments. We'll talk about that, actually, because we're going to have a town of off-grid luxury homes with a shooting range and Zen Wellness Center and all this stuff, right? So here's the thing. Serious, just as an example. Do I really have to worry about, oh, no, all these ways to protect my wealth if in 2 years I can fund both the homes that I'll ever need and a town? Like, what people lose so much energy trying to protect their money that they don't get anything that they want. So that's why we have a solvable problem. Okay, I'll tell you some tricks about that. Let me get through this stuff real quick though, because I'm going to show you where the free money is. I'm going to show you where free money is. I'm going to show you how to use it. I'm going to show you how I think people misuse it. I'm going to show you how I recommend using it. But again, do not abdicate responsibility to me. Do not leave yourself in a position to be uncertain and powerlessness. And the problem with uncertainty is you have to be okay with a little bit of it. Because if you are not okay with it, you will believe a story that is not true. Okay? So you'll have certainty for a while, but when that story falls apart, you will spin out, completely spin out to an uncontrollable amount of uncertainty and anxiety. Right? Talk about this in Nixmas a lot. A little bit of uncertainty is good. Complete certainty is very bad. It does not exist. It is fake. Okay? So if you have complete certainty, you are a ticking time bomb. You are a ticking time bomb. It's countdown to doomsday for you because it's only a matter of time before your 100K Bitcoin in December or whatever your narrative is does not match up with reality. Then you are fucked. Okay? So, de-engineering in the Wolf Den. De-engineering 3.0. VIP tickets are live. It's great. They're 3 ETH. They're going to go up to 5 ETH. If you wanna join, awesome. We're not actually trying to make a lot of money on these events. The first few events we sold out completely, put it into a farm, and that is kind of funding all the fun stuff that we're doing. So our number one priority is basically cover our costs and make sure there's a barrier so that people are already people are truly interested in coming, right? So it's really a barrier. But here's what we're doing with the Wolf Den and DJ Engineering moving forward is I'm just doing our best to present options, opportunities, offers, and proximity to really, truly incredible people. Hey, again, Wolf Den members have been exposed. And if you're in the Wolf Den, you can drop a comment and let me know. Or you can agree with me or disagree with me. Over the last 8 months, Wolf Den members have been exposed to people, opportunities, things, again, proximity to some of the greatest humans on the planet, to drive down uncertainty and give them power over the outcome. That is what we have continued to do. That is what we will always do. That is what we will always be about. Okay. Options, opportunity. Notice how this does not say prescription. Prescription that everybody must follow, step-by-step plan, because those are fragile. We want people to know how to think. We want people to update their operating system. We want people to turn into incredible investors and thinkers themselves and have access to the people that can help them, like the Dr. Jeff Spencers and so on and so forth. All right, so VIP, so DJ Engineering, especially 4.0, VIP and VIP Plus now, these are amazing experiences. Everybody that upgraded the VIP at 1.0 upgraded the VIP at 2.0. I think every single person at 2.0, except for a couple, upgraded the VIP because the experience is insane, and the proximity to the people is world class. It's insane. Okay? So it's the sexy thing. It really is. Like, VIP at our events is just an experience that is unlike any other. Especially in the crypto world. We've had many people that plan events come up to us and say this is the best event we have ever been to, and that is a shout out to Brandon and Angela for setting those events up. So now this is the sexy thing. We're not going to use this sexy thing, the VIP and VIP Plus, to try to make as much money as possible. That's not what we're here for. We are here to provide options, opportunities, offers, and proximity. Hey, so the people that come to VIP, and if you're in the Wolf Den, you know this. You ever been like, man, I did this thing that Nick said 3 months ago, and I'm glad I did because I'm positioned so well now. That is all by design. So the people that upgrade to VIP, VIP Plus, we don't want just the event to be the main thing. It's going to be worth, if you pay 3 ETH, 5 ETH for it right now, I almost guarantee it's going to be worth it for you. But it's really more like, I want you to take the actions or reward you for doing the things that are going to make you a better human, give you more options, opportunities, offers, and proximity. So that said, Wolfsaw, in a couple months, I'm dragging my feet a little bit. If you have a lot of Wolfsaw, you are going to be incredibly well positioned, especially if you think it's really cool what we're doing with some of the land and the Wolf Zen. I'll show you guys real quick. You guys want to see a little bit about the Wolf Zen? This is just they just sent this over to me. Boom. This is the Wolf Zen. Right, these are off-grid homes on a retreat where you could ride ATVs right on Lake Pleasant. You can climb Zen, marksman, archery rifle, pistol, shotgun range, yada, yada, yada. And we're probably going to have a luxury home there called the Wolf Zen. So off-grid, in the mountains, in Arizona, just an added dimension to people. It's a lot of fun, okay? So if that's interesting to you, your Wolfsaw will be interesting to you. If you're already part of the 300, you're upgraded to VIP for free. If you're going to Dr. Jeff Spencer's Champions Experience, I will upgrade you to VIP for free. Why? Because this has you positioned well. This is going to be a really cool community. I want to reward you for being there. And I also know you're a certain kind of person if you have already invested in that. The 300 is not mine. It is Jordan Hall's. I am part of it. I am a member of it. And Dr. Jeff's Champions Experience. Anybody that goes to this comes out the other end just a more magnificent human. So you kind of see how this works. Now, if you're not going to do these things, that's okay. There is opportunity to just buy your VIP pass. But again, I don't know if you're going to be positioned well. I don't know if you're going to be in good community. I don't know if you're going to have a champion's mind, which means the trade-off is you pay for the access. Okay, I hope that makes sense. There's many currencies. Being the kind of person that works with Dr. Jeff is valuable to me. Right? It's valuable to the group. It's valuable to the community. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, now VIP Plus. Let me tell you about VIP Plus really quick. VIP Plus is on a Sunday. It's Padram's birthday. Happy birthday, Padram. Almost. I mean, it's actually quite a ways away. It's Sunday. What we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to check out this this location. Okay, I'm going to show, we'll drive him out there, we'll make a huge event out of it. We'll do some really cool stuff with some amazing people. The event, I can tell you guys, the actual event is at Joe Polish's office. I don't know if you guys know Joe Polish. He is one of the most well-connected people on the planet. So our Padram event, we're going to have some of Joe's friends, and we're going to do something really, really cool on Sunday. So that's VIP Plus. And then we're going to drive out to a town. We are going to drive out to Cleator, Arizona. Now, for those of you that don't know, I am officially the sheriff of Recapture, Arizona. If you need proof, I'm actually going out there. I'm going out there soon to do the whole ceremony and get my sheriff's badge. So that'll be cool. But let me see. Let me see if I can make this work. You can see, obviously, by my sheriff's hat, that's an official sheriff's hat. I got to go back to Arizona and get my badge for Cleator, Arizona. This is a ghost town. Joe Polish and Jason Campbell and Mike, who I met not too long ago, just the other weekend, we climbed a mountain together, bought this town. And what we're doing is we're doing a lot of really cool stuff on this town. The Wolf Den is participating. So this 122 ETH is just getting started. There's going to be probably quite a bit more than that. There's 576 total citizens. So you become a digital citizen of this town, and this is all getting built on the town treasury is getting built with the base case on Night and Dark Night. Right, so that means that this town treasury is going to grow pretty quickly, and there's going to be a lot of cool benefits for citizens. But we're going to go out, and there's a famous bar. It is like a historic famous bar in Cleator, Arizona. And we're going to go hang out there. I would say we shut down the town, but the town has like 6 residents. So we're just going to go take over the town, and we're going to have a great time for Padram's birthday. In order to participate in that, you just have to have a Cleator Citizen NFT. Don't ask me a bunch of questions about it. These are not my NFTs. These are not my NFTs. These are for the Cleator. It's run. Jason runs the collection. But if you want to go out for Plus, that's what you're going to need. Monday. Okay, so this is on Sunday. Is VIP Plus. It's going to be one of the wildest experiences anybody will ever have. I'm trying to get, I don't want to tell you guys. Hold on, let me see if I can see it in here. If I can get a good view of it, I'll show you. All right, so there's a huge mountain, and we're trying to get that whole entire mountain lit up with a Wolf Den logo. So, yeah, violating your economic and personal principles is a felony in Cleator. I am the sheriff. I will shoot you. I won't even arrest you. I just shoot you. All right. So, and then Monday, that's Sunday. This is all day Sunday, separate from the event. Monday, we're gonna go climb. We're gonna climb some mountains and stuff for just to continue to celebrate Padram's birthday. All right, now where's the free money? This title had free money in it. Let me show you why we need a solvable problem and why I don't care about all this, like how to protect your wealth over the next 40 years, is because nobody knows. No, there's concepts and there's principles and there are fundamentals, and they should be applied to each individual, right? Individual indexing, meaning what is best for you is probably not best for me. We have different assets, we have different resources, we have different preferences, we have different priorities. So what we do is we create a solvable problem. Let me show you an example of a solvable problem. boom. These are the things that I want. Here's how much money I need. Here's a timeline. Now what happens is we can get down to like, okay, based on what I want, whether it's Bitcoin or US dollars or Ethereum or freaking baseball cards, I'm going to need $65 million worth of whatever based on our projections, and this could change, right? By December 28th, 2032. I just picked my birthday 10 years from now. I'm going to drop $3 million, and that's what I have available right now. And I can put in an extra $25,000 a month. This is just an example. This is a very close example to a conversation we just had. Okay. So this is the solvable problem. This informs behavior. This is, I need on my current assets and resources to get 28%. So you can say, oh, you got to keep all your money in cash. I don't know if anybody's saying that, but, well, is it possible for me to get 28% on my cash? It's not. So all I'm doing is I am protecting an amount that won't get me what I want. What the fuck is the point? Right? People are so loss averse that they'll just like lock in never getting what they want. It's better than losing something. But that's, I personally have no interest in living a life where I don't get the things that I want. Like just stacks of money doesn't do it for me. It might do it for you, but I promise once you have stacks of money, it won't do it for you. The fact that you think stacks of money is the answer is probably why you don't have stacks of money, in fact. Okay, so 65 million, boom, boom, boom. So I need 28.6%, right? Now, knowing that we don't know what's going to happen, okay? We may have a pretty good idea, but let's say we don't know what's going to happen. We want to lock this in as soon as possible with as little risk as possible, right? Little risk as possible as soon as possible so that we get whatever this dollar amount represents. We get it before the whole world goes to hell. It's not about protecting the money unless that's part of our solvable problem. Okay. So let's move this timeline a little bit even. Let's move it up 2 years. Sure. I'm just showing you can move stuff around. Okay. 37%. So I need 37% on my current $3 million if I could put $25,000 a month in. 37%. Now here's what we do. Okay, everybody, I implore everybody to do this. We recapture and we reallocate. Recapture and reallocate. Remember the investor frame. All of those resources that are going in that are either being hemorrhaged. So all resources that are being wasted or violating our current economic and personal principles need to get recaptured and reallocated to the solvable problem. Right? A lot of people are like, oh, how are you going to protect this thing? Put a bunch of work into protecting this thing. They get all scared about it. And that thing is actually violating their own economic and personal principles to begin with. There's a lot of people like insuring their demise without realizing it because they're so afraid of losing things. So we need a solvable problem to come back to. Does this tie into the solvable problem? Does this actually get me what I want? Just a refresher, solvable problem is closing the gap between where you're at and what you actually want out of life. So we apply the investor frame and we go through everything. Now we just did this with somebody who was at the office on Friday. Okay, and it's basically the 2 Oreo is you just examine everything. All right, do I really need that? You go through your P&L, go through your business, go through your personal life. Would I really opt back into paying for Netflix? Would I really opt back in for this? Would I really opt back in for this? Do I really need this? Yada, yada, yada. All right. So here's what we find. 2 Oreo, we find $15,000 a month. $15,000 a month. Okay? So it's $15,000 right away and then $15,000 ongoing per year. It's $180,000 a year recaptured. Oh, there we go. $180,000 a year. You want to know something crazy? you have a 30% profit margin, that's the equivalent of making an extra $600,000 a year. You tell me which one's more feasible. Cutting some stuff out, right? So if you wanted to put this in crypto or base case or buy fucking cars with it, you could make an extra $600,000 if you have a 30% profit margin, or you could really quickly recapture $180,000 with no extra work. And this will probably get you closer to what you want, whereas more work will probably get you further away. Make sense? Okay, so that's the 2 Oreo. We've had companies that have $50,000 a month going through black holes with masterminds and coaching programs and softwares and all this stuff. You can do the math. Okay. So 180 grand a year recaptured, which at 30% here. This is assuming 30% profit margins. Yours might be different. That is the equivalent of $600,000 in new revenue. Think about that. Very, very simple. So people always like, I got to make more money. Like, stop violating your own economic personal principles. Just recapture what you're wasting. Because now we can say, here's another example. And this is one from an example we gave last week, but this comes up a lot. Home equity line of credit, HELOC. Let's say you get $400,000 out of your house. Okay. Just an example. If you own a home, you can get $400,000, depending on the price of the home and all that. But let's say you get this is the average that we work with, $400,000 HELOC. That's free money. It's sitting in assets you already have. You're just borrowing against your home. You get a line of credit against your home. Okay, no additional monthly. You should get $400,000. And we're not going to count that as a yearly thing either, because it's just $400,000. Now, if you're a business person and you're thinking you're just going to maybe outmarket and outsell, at 30% profit margins, you have to do $1.3 million. Or you just take out a HELOC to get this amount of cash in your bank to invest it in what you want. Right? So this is the equivalent of about $2 million here. In $2 million a year in revenue. Or you can just go back and do some really simple stuff that's already sitting there hidden in plain sight. Stop violating your own economic principles. Get new money. All right, so we can go 415. So now we have the $400,000 from the home equity line of credit, and right up front we got $15,000 from 2 Oreo. Right? If we assume 19%, that's very, very conservative. 19%, because Anchor will give you 19%. And remember, we recovered $15,000 a month that we are earmarking and reallocating to investing. Just found $8 million. $8 million without making a single extra dime. I don't know, and I get it. So this is just an example, okay? Now, if you full base case it, say you assume 70%, calculate, you're going to end up with like $500 million or something stupid. Boom, over $500 million. Okay, of course, this is not what it's about. So when we see this, we don't get greedy. We don't become greedy a-holes, go $605 billion, that's insane. I don't believe this. That's too risky. This can't be real. Like, we see this, we check ourselves. Yeah, we believe we can get 70%. Maybe we don't. Maybe we're like, I feel pretty good about 25% in the base case. Very, very conservative. Cool. $13 million for free. Right? Because it came out of an asset that you already own in your home, and it came out of just not violating your own personal principles by canceling the hemorrhaging cash. These are very reasonable numbers, by the way. So what we do now is, instead of going, okay, $13 million, that's great, $13 million. This is to highlight how easy it is to find money if you optimize before you maximize. That's a Dan Nicholson principle. Okay, so you just boom. There's plenty of things. There's so many assets. Like, people always say, somebody pays $100,000. What do they get? Like, this is what they get. We show them where the millions of dollars is. But it's really simple if you just zoom out and think about it. So everybody's trying to make more. I'm telling you, just recapture what you're wasting. Okay? Find the hidden money. Find the assets that you have that you can borrow against. Okay, and then obviously there's going to be like a 2.5% interest on this you have to consider. Like, you got to protect yourself, right? This is against your home, so you may want to do more conservative strategy like Anchor, which is why we can go 19%. Okay. So now this leaves us as greedy a-holes. We're going, whoa, look at this. This is amazing. But we still run into, we don't know what's going to happen. Right? This is exactly what happens, right? But what about, is this going to be around in 10 years? Like, first of all, who cares? It's free money. Second of all, we don't just play the game to make this money, to this number larger. That is not a solvable problem. That's why people blow themselves up. So this is just a highlight at a conservative. This is half the base case. 35%. We could find $28 million with zero extra income. There was exactly zero extra income here. In fact, you probably got a lot of time back when you got rid of all this crap that was costing you time and money. Now, here's what we do. This is my recommendation. You can disagree with this all you want. If you disagree with it, great. Go tell somebody else. Don't tell me. We go to the Certainty app. Okay? We go to the Certainty app. And boom. Now remember, if this is our solvable problem, this represents, on the best of our knowledge, everything that we want out of life. The house that we want, the car that we want, the home that we want, the freedom that we want, whatever it is. Okay, you can't be worried about it's not about the money. This represents something that was defined previously. Okay? By 2032, 37.5%, what we want to do is we want to drive this timeline down and this target return down, because that means we're taking less and less risk. Okay? Ideally, we drive the target return down because we put a lot of time and effort into the timeline if we're smart. So initial investment is now $3,415, right? Because we recaptured this 415 right up front. And our additional monthly investment is now $40,000 because we recaptured it. Right? It was already hidden right there in plain sight. Now we need 33%. Right? This is what we're optimizing for. You see how this is different? 65 million in the shortest timeline possible. If we can also consistently go, I get 40% consistently. I feel really good about that. You start playing with the dates and try to condense it down. This is the game. Get what you want, collapse the time down, lower the risk. Collapse the time down, lower the risk. Collapse the time down, lower the risk. Lock in the things that matter the most to you using crypto if you want. Crypto's an incredible tool. I am not a crypto maxi. If you need this, and you're already sitting here, look, you need 0% return. Don't put it in crypto. Like, just hide it. Put it in a bank account. You don't need any, you're going to get your $6 million just on your additional monthly investments on top of your initial, right? So it's all about getting what you want. Without this, in my experience, in my opinion, you are going to be a ball of anxiety, or you're going to have a ton of certainty for some arbitrary amount of time until your narrative falls apart, and then you're going to spin out of control, and you're going to have no way to reorient yourself. You can't just go, I'm going to protect all my money by doing this thing, because if that thing doesn't work out exactly as you planned, you now have no uncertainty and no power over the outcome. You have no way of reorienting, no way to get a grip on reality, and all that certainty that you got was for naught. You're actually in a really rough place. So that is, I encourage you all, though. You can do your 2 Oreo principle, and you can use a compounding calculator like this, and you can be a greedy a-hole. You'll still be better off than continuing to pay for shit that you don't want or need. But I encourage you to solve a problem if you're in the wolf den. I encourage you to go through the 2 Oreo principle, right? Your recurring payments in your business, and I am not going to increase my mic volume. Thanks for the suggestion, though. You can go through your business, You go through your personal expenses, recapture, and reallocate. Right? Remember the investor frame. Would I opt back into this with this amount of money? Hey, don't worry about sunken cost. I don't care if you paid $3 million for Bitcoin and now it's worth $1 million. You're like, oh, but I don't want to leave it a loss. I'll use that as an example. Okay, paid $3 million for Bitcoin, now worth $1 million. Would I pay $1 million to buy this Bitcoin? That's the question. Here, right here. Okay. Most people are like, oh, but I don't want to sell it at a loss. That is the human mind loss aversion. That is super amateur as an investor. The question is, if I had $1 million, would I buy this Bitcoin? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, I wouldn't, then this $1 million sitting in Bitcoin is violating your economic and personal principles. Your loss aversion is making you a bad investor, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, I know it's hard, but people do this with fucking crypto all the time. Well, I'm just waiting for it to pump so I don't take a loss. Think about it. If you have Floki, if you have $50,000 worth of Floki, and I said, if I gave you $50,000, would you buy Floki with this? And you said no. No way I would buy Floki with this $50,000. Then leaving $50,000 in Floki, regardless of what it was before, is a bad decision based on your personal and economic principles. Right? Hopefully this makes sense. These are tools to get what you want out of life. Much of it is just safeguarding yourself against your own biases. The bias towards more. More is better. That is not true. More would only be better if we lived in a vacuum and we knew everything was going to happen. In my opinion, what is more better is locking in what you want. Okay? Goodness, that is amazing thinking. That is resource allocation. That is the investor frame. I know that you're in the CCA, so we're going to deep dive on this, right? But it goes back to the main question. I have X amount of resources. How are they best allocated? How they have performed. Like, well, this used to be worth 10 million. Now it's worth 1. I don't want to take a loss. Well, if you wouldn't buy that thing for 1 million, then you are losing like in perpetuity because you are continuing to violate your principles. No fucking wonder people don't have what they want because they are violating their own principles left and right. I'm not here to tell you what your principles should be. I'm telling you not to violate your own. Big difference. See, that's when I say about abdicating responsibility to influencers and experts. Like, look, I'm on YouTube. I'm talking about stuff. But I'm encouraging you to know who you are and know what you believe and stop violating that. I am not telling you what to believe. Big difference in my opinion, okay? So that's the investor frame. I hope that is useful. I hope it helps you think. I hope you go sell some shit coins or something. Now, you could say, I paid $3 million for Bitcoin. Now it's worth $1 million. Would I pay $1 million for this amount of Bitcoin that I have? Hell yes, I would. Great. Then move on. Keep your Bitcoin. You are not violating your economic and personal principles. It's not about gain and loss right now. That's not how investing works. Investing works gain and loss over a long period of time, not day to day or week to week. What we want to do is update our decision-making criteria. Okay? Update our decision-making criteria so that our investments, our behavior is aligned with our beliefs. So whether we win or lose, we have power over the outcome and certainty about the operating system, and anxiety goes down. That's all it is. Don't have to be right all the time. It's okay to be wrong as long as your behavior is aligned with your beliefs. Because if that is the case, you will learn how to get filthy, filthy, filthy rich in time, regardless of what anybody else thinks or does. Okay. Dicka says sunken cost. Yes, you got to protect yourself from yourself. Investor Frame is way to do that. This is from the CCA, and I think it's also in cash flow engineering. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. Appreciate you guys. Think about it. Recapture, reallocate. Use the investor frame. Avoid that loss aversion, that sunken cost. And we'll deep dive on some really cool stuff in Engineering 3.0. Primary focus now is we got some really cool stuff rolling out for Guard in particular. Guard BUSD. We're just dotting our I's, crossing our T's. Are a week or two away from rolling that out. Guard is becoming our preferred treasury asset, so we're gonna bulletproof it so we can acquire a ton of Guard, and we're gonna buy it all because that's the asset that we have the macro belief in. Okay. I'm just looking at the comments really quick. That's all I got. Appreciate you guys.